Scotland, what do you think of? A common answer would be bagpipes. But what happens when the piper himself vanishes into thin air? There are several stories of phantom pipers throughout Scottish history and folklore. Years ago, a vast network of tunnels is said to have existed near Stranraer in Dumfries in Galloway. Locals believed that fairies lived in these tunnels, with no one daring to go inside and disturb them. Until one day, a piper entered the caves. He played his pipes loudly, accompanied by his faithful dog. The music droned on for hours, slowly fading away until it couldn't be heard anymore. Suddenly, the dog ran out of the cave, terrified and howling. The piper was never seen again. Although the caves are long gone, on summer nights passers-by have heard the distant sounds of bagpipes coming from deep within the ground.
Sometimes there are things that happen in life that we just don't know how to explain. Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries of Massachusetts, we take a look at the lost savior of Waltham. March 17th, 1996, Waltham, Massachusetts. Rick and Donna Roberts were driving home to Boston from the New Hampshire White Mountains with their two kids, Scott and Samantha. They were cruising along 128 in Waltham when they collided with an out-of-control car. Donna received only minor injuries and was able to get out of the car and check on everybody else. Rick, however, was more seriously injured and his door was stuck. They were able to get baby Scott out, but 10-week-old baby Samantha was stuck in the car seat. And for some reason, Massachusetts, all of the drivers that were driving by just decided to ignore the situation. However, one motorist decided to stop and help them get Samantha out of the car seat before this happened. The vehicle burst into flames just after Samantha was taken out of the car. Their savior stayed silent throughout the whole thing and drove away before they could talk to him. Every attempt they've made to try and locate the man have been unsuccessful. We may never know the true identity of the lost savior of Waltham.
On Christmas Eve, George and Jenny Sauter and their 9 children went to bed, and what they woke up to would change their life forever. Jenny woke up at 12:30 a.m. to the phone ringing. A woman whose voice she didn't recognize asked for someone she wasn't familiar with. She also heard voices in the background, glasses clinking, and laughter. Once she got off the phone, she checked on her children. Everything looked normal, so she went back to bed. At 1 a.m., she woke up again to the sound of something hitting the roof and then a rolling noise. She didn't think much of it, so she went back to bed. At 1:30 a.m., Jenny woke up again to the smell of smoke and discovered a fire coming from George's office. Jenny and George escaped the house with 4 of their children. They assumed the rest were in the attic, so they yelled for them. They didn't hear from them and couldn't go upstairs to get them because the staircase was aflame. They tried calling for help, but their phone wasn't working. They tried getting their ladder, but their ladder was missing, and both of George's trucks would not start. No bones were ever found, and up until they died, Jenny and George believed their children didn't die in that fire.
A creepy, eerie, unsolved mystery. So on March 19th, 2004, Brianna Maitland went missing from Vermont, and still to this day, it's unsolved on what actually happened. Brianna left her shift at the Black Lantern Inn at around 11:20 p.m., and after that, no one knows what happened. Earlier that day, she went to go celebrate with her mother, and her mother reported that Brianna looked outside the restaurant and someone or something caught her eye, and she went outside to go investigate. And her mother said that she was acting really weird, that she said that she looked shocked, just like freaked out in a way. But the mom didn't ask her anything. So the next day, people reported a strange car that was apparently hit into a house in a really strange way. They come to realize that it's Brianna's car, and everyone is terrified from the way it looks. No one knows what happened to her. There is a few theories.
On February 7, 2018, Danny Filippidis went skiing with fellow firefighters in Lake Placid, New York, and then went missing. He went to get his cell phone from his car and then never came back. He reappeared in Sacramento, California 6 days later with no memory of how he got there or what happened.
What's a piece of information that you learned that feels illegal to know?
Let's do this again because my last video got deleted. So if you're trying to murder someone, try to get them to fall asleep at an earlier time than they usually do. So if they usually fall asleep at 10 or 11, try to get them to fall asleep at 7 or 8. Next, you will grab an ice cube that's big enough to kill them and shove it down their throat. The ice will then melt and there will be no proof of foul play or that they choked on food or poison. Then you would move their body to a place that they would normally have a glass of water, such as the kitchen or the living room. Then you will take a glass of water that has their fingerprints on it and destroy it right next to their body. This makes the victim look like they choked on water and there was no one around to help them, so they fell to the floor and so did the glass of water. You want them to fall asleep at an earlier time so that no one who knows them can say, oh, they would never get up at 11 p.m. to get a glass of water. Again, that being said, don't use this!
I'm sure a lot of you have seen this video, so let me tell you exactly what's going on. Okay, I know this looks bad, but this isn't actually an alien. This is Ada, which is a mummified human baby skeleton. We know this because we're actually able to test her DNA. The DNA told us that she was native to where she was found, Chile, that she is human, and she has 54 rare bone mutations, many of which are actually wholly unique to her and have never been seen anywhere else. Whale bones are actually surprisingly common in deserts. My favorite is in the deserts of Egypt, which has a 65 million year old whale that has 2 little arms in the front. These spheres are actually crafted for millions or billions of years in a natural process called concretion. I've actually talked about these before on my page, so that's just more the reason to follow me. This thing is absolutely incredible at over 25 miles in diameter. Plus, it's just super satisfying to look at. It's caused by dome erosion because each layer gets significantly older the closer you get to the center.